Hello, welcome back to the Zero Strategy Podcast. I am joined
Is there
today.
a receptacle for me to make love to?
What the fuck was that?
First time in a while you've caught him off guard like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Pathfinder things.
Okay, moving on. I'm joined today by my co-hosts. We have Unholy Cyber,
Hi.
we have Grog Mode,
Hello.
and we have Medibot Eve.
Hi.
Hello. So we have a lot to talk about. As always, if you're watching in the live stream, please feel free to ask any questions or give any comments, and we will try and get to them as we go through it. First of all, Cyber, what have you been up to since the last episode?
Nothing. I've been a fucking hermit. I'm tired. 2021 is stressful. I'm moving in 8 weeks though, so that's all I'm kind of focusing on right now. And Tarkov has kind of consumed my life. So 8 weeks, and then I can buy my new PC and be happy in Canada. Fuck Boris.
I don't know what Boris Karloff ever did to you. He
Nah,
was
he-
misunderstood as a monster and as an actor, but I don't see it.
He's okay. It's the other fucker that just needs to be yeeted into the sea.
All right, Grog, what have you been up to?
I've been playing some different stuff on stream. Actually, I'm very pleased to report that I've adopted and converted at least 5 new people to the cult of Loop Hero.
Nice.
So that's fun. I've had friends send me hate messages, both saying "God damn you," "God damn this game," "God damn it's addicting," also, and then they thank me. So that's fun. That game is super rad. I streamed it like middle of last week, and honestly, I didn't even plan to stream it the whole time, but it just like before I knew it, I looked up and like 6 hours had gone by, and I was like, oh, that was a whole stream. Cool. But yeah, that's been fun, and then I've been getting back into a bit more Apex. I'm looking forward to playing that with you tomorrow,
Heck yeah.
Condi. And yeah, and I got a sick solo dub last night, actually. I played with randoms. It was just trios, and I think we each put up like 1,200 damage. 13, the other person put 1,300, and then 1,500. We each got no less than 3 to 4 kills. It was wild. So it's been good.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Eve, what about yourself?
Hi, I'm Eve, and I'm addicted to Loop Hero.
Hello, Eve.
Hi, Eve.
Hi, Eve.
Yeah. I was one of those people that sent him a hate message. On me and said, fuck you,
Understandable.
playing Loop Hero, getting me addicted, stupid bastard. And that's all I sent him. But yeah, I've been playing that, and I've also been doing some Apex on stream, and it's been fun.
We had a lot of fun. That's where this
Yeah.
came from.
We
Is
got
there a
like
receptacle for me to make love to?
we got 3 dubs in one of those days, and 2 of them were back to back. So it was pretty fucking sick.
Heck yeah.
Pretty fucking
yeah.
poggers.
Pretty fucking poggers. But
So-
right now we're just fully snowed in. It's about 2 feet of snow outside. It's been snowing for the last 24 hours, and it's supposed to keep going. So hopefully I don't have to work tomorrow.
That'd be
But
nice.
you work
That'd
from
be pretty
home.
dope. Well, they make me go into the office on Mondays.
Oh, okay.
And if the whole plant's closed down, I just don't have to work.
That's the perfect
So-
situation. Hopefully. So
Because I'd still get paid for it.
How about you, Condi? What are you up to?
yeah, I've been a bit Apex addicted, honestly. I can't stop. I'm obsessed with it. I love it.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, I've been having such a good time. It's like, I don't know what it is. I think the thing is I can feel myself improving at the game and getting better, which is just a really satisfying and rewarding thing. Obviously, skill-based matchmaking is still an issue. When I play with some people, the matches are obviously extremely sweaty and difficult, but then it's
Sorry
like
for that.
the SBMM doesn't
I'm not.
really like if I go in and play solo, I have a great time. You know, like
You mean an
it's-
easy time?
yeah, like it's I don't know what it is, but I can't stop playing. I love it. We were grinding ranked yesterday. I'm up to gold 3 now. but I'm aiming to get out of gold. Like we're going to the moon, you know?
I I have a question that I'm like kind of interested to hear what each of you think about. Like in regards to skill-based matchmaking, like it's a topic that kind of comes up seemingly in every game that has it, and I feel like there has been a shift, and I don't have anything like any data to back this up other than just like the anecdotal um personal experience, but it feels like skill-based matchmaking has become more aggressive in the last couple of years in pretty much every shooter game that doesn't have a ranked mode or outside of a ranked mode. Like skill-based matchmaking has been so, I feel like it's been dialed up to the degree that like there used to be a protected bracket of like the very low players, either new players or players that just, you know, they play infrequently or for whatever reason they're where they are, and that's totally fine. And in order to create that protected bracket so that you don't have people who are even at like, you know, sort of like the median stomping on those people, they basically just kind of quarantine, for the lack of a better word, people who are struggling a little bit with the game or just getting familiar with the game, and have them play against each other. And I think that's totally fine, but it feels like they've just increased the spread into like several new like chunks. So now it's like if you are better than average, you only play everyone that is at least better than average or way better. And it that I don't know.
It
Weird to me.
I agree. It's definitely got more aggressive. It's one of those things that like you can feel it now. Like you can really
yeah.
tell. The example I always think of is when you and I played that Warzone tournament, Grog, and we did our warm up games. We were having a great time. I think we got second place. And
Yeah.
then the first game of the tournament, it was like the lobbies were entirely different. And we could like literally both of us were saying something has changed. We've it's like we bumped up a level and suddenly got put into lobbies where like instead of maybe being near the top of our current bracket of matchmaking, we were then near the bottom, or certainly I was in the next bracket of matchmaking, and it was brutal.
I get I guess the thing that bothers I guess the thing that bothers me is that it's like it it's difficult, it's a difficult thing to like dissect without sounding like, oh well, you know, I just don't want to have to sweat my nuts off all day, you know. I and you know, and obviously a counterpoint is like, oh, you just want to stomp on noobs. It's like, well, no,
It's
but
Yeah,
almost like
that's
an
what I
ego
want.
thing.
Yeah.
but part of what I think you hit the nail on the head, Condi, where one of the things is it's now very noticeable, like so noticeable as like you can feel it, you can feel the weight of it as it's happening. And that is a bit strange because I think in the past, like definitely in the mid 2000s, skill-based matchmaking was there, but it wasn't so aggressive. Like I think if it were invisible and it felt invisible and you just have like, oh my god, that was a sweaty game, and then you go and you play for like an hour and you're just like, oh yeah, a couple of those games, oh, you remember that one where we were doing this thing and they were positioned in this spot, and oh yeah, that was crazy. Now it's like with the example Condi gave, when we did that tournament, we placed second before the tournament started, literally started the next match, and we were in diamond rank lobbies for 3/4 of like 4 hour 3 hours, 3.5
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
And it was diamond one, and to put that in context, we were playing in the top 5% of the world's player base for 3.5 hours. Like that's not fun. Like, and we were only in a tournament by way of, you know, our
Kill
scores were
race.
being tracked. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
kill race, so like we weren't actually playing in a lobby with other people in our tournament. We were just playing. Like if we were playing casually, it wouldn't have like changed the scenario at all. And that in itself just seems weird to me. Um, because it's like I understand if you the argument that like, okay, well, you know, you're competing at a certain level, you should be competing with others at your same level. But the thing is that like, you know, not every game for a baseball player is a fucking World Series. You know, like some days they just, I'm sure they're going out there and they do want to win, but some days, you know, you're not phoning it in, but you just want to have fun. You know, like you want
You
to
want to
play.
chill. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to
And
be able
like
to
you
play
can't do
with
that.
friends that are maybe not in the same sort of skill bracket as you. Like, there's people
Yeah.
I want to play with, but
Otherwise,
I'm
I
like,
want to be able to play with you.
there's people I want to play with, and I'm like,
Oh.
if I play with this person, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have fun, but like, my gameplay is gonna suffer. If
Yeah.
I bring this person into my lobby, I know I'm gonna have a worse time in regards to the opponents I'm playing against. And the same thing, if there's somebody that wants to start a game, and it's like, oh yeah, you should jump into Apex with me. I've been playing for God knows how long. A brand new person jumping into my lobbies are gonna have a bad time. Like it kind of ruins that. I don't understand why games can't just have. See, I think Apex has almost got it, because Apex has their public, random games, and then they have ranked. But skill-based matchmaking is there in both playlists. Just put
Which is
SBMM in ranked, and then leave the
Yeah.
other one. Like,
and I would argue that every game that wants to have aggressive SBMM must have a ranked playlist. And I would say once you have a ranked playlist, be it competitive and the competitive playlist in Destiny, or ranked in Apex, or Warzone needs it badly but doesn't have it. There's Call of Duty League, but again, that's just multiplayer. Um, I think that there still needs to be SBMM, and don't get me wrong, in general games, there needs to be SBMM, but it should just be to partition like the 0.5 KD and down, so that when you get these quote unquote bot lobbies where people like don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, and they're like staring up at the sky and like getting lost and spinning in circles, like those folks should not be thrown to the wolves. Like that's not fair. That's not no one will want to learn how to get into a game that way.
I would pay to see that shit.
But I don't know. I think that I understand its purpose. I just feel like it's starting to detract more from a gaming experience. You see people complain about, Iron Banner, and like, oh, it's so sweaty, or they don't like the fact that there's the light level difference. And I just I just think that there was something to have been like a kind of a hardcore first person shooter gamer in the very early 2000s and late 90s. It's difficult to put into words, because you just had, this is a hard server, or this is like a really difficult set of matches, and you know what, it'll just flip on its head when I join a different server, or I go somewhere else, or those people rotate out, and it just, and like, I know Eve is just memeing in chat, but it is what it is. Like, sometimes you get a hard one, sometimes you don't. But I don't know.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but I had to like hold myself back. I was like,
it's just one of those things where it feels like companies are going more aggressive.
Yeah,
Hyper, stop.
it's a shame, but at the end of the day, there's got to be a reason. I mean, I know that the argument is that the lower, sort of lower skill, or less more casual people need to be protected. But if that's the case, then put those people into ranked, so they're matching against people of their skill. Like Apex, I love at the start of a new season, because generally people get bumped down in their rank, so I can go in and play silver or bronze lobbies instead. And as soon as you get into that gold, for me, I noticed an immediate switch. As soon as I hit gold rank, the lobbies are completely different. And like you say, the issue is that having friends that maybe want to jump into a game, particularly like a battle royale where there's not like a PvE side to it to go and play, it's really difficult. Like Grog, if you were playing with somebody that's brand new to Warzone and they jump into a lobby with you,
I mean, I would only have them play with me if I'm playing with a squad of other people that are of their same level.
yeah,
Like if I was literally like, hey, do you want to start playing Warzone together? I would have to. I mean, in good conscience, I feel like I'd have to go out of my way to find. And it's shit. It's also like, oh, it's just so icky to then have to be like, hey, do you want to play with me and somebody else? You're not good.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you can help bring the average down. Like that's not. I don't. That's not.
yeah.
Like you wanna. I want to spend time with people. Like I play the game. I play the games that I play because I do like the competition. I like the skill gap. I the thing that makes me happiest as an individual is personal growth. Because it's probably one of the few things that I that brings me joy in the sense that like I dislike so many things about myself. If I can see myself grow in any one aspect, it's the one thing I can get chuffed about. But if I'm playing a game where I'm already at a higher bracket, like it's really hard to be like, "Hey, I love spending time with you, friend. Like you're a great person and we vibe on the same games and I just want to chat with you and hang with you." But I'm going to go play Warzone for 2 hours. I don't know that you want to play with me. Like that's a weird, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Um
absolutely.
because it's honestly, I feel sometimes I do feel guilty. I feel guilty because we get into matches and like we come out of it and it's like everyone leaves with like no kills and I have like a dozen. And I don't know how that's
Weird
fun
flex.
for them. I mean, but it's just like it's true.
Yeah, no, you're
I don't
right.
know.
You're absolutely right. Well, apart from like SBMM FPS games, I've also been playing Valheim, and I think it's really starting to get its claws into me. I played it last weekend because I thought, hey, Sunday morning, nice chill, crafting, building, survival game. And I liked it, but I wasn't like dying to play more of it. But I played a bit more this morning, and I'm kind of now itching to jump back in and play a little bit more. Especially because after we ended, I rated someone else playing Valheim, and it looked like a completely different game. Like, I've still got my little wooden hut and my wooden club, and then we raided over and they're like, they've got like a whole town that they've built and they're fighting dragons with magic bows, and I'm like, what on earth have I been doing this whole time?
I've been really impressed seeing people go ham in that game with like architectural feats. Like so, I watched a clip on Twitter where someone had built a staircase down a mountainside, and like and it was and they designed it so they could take a cart up and down it, and like they also built a bridge, like a covered bridge over water, and like just but like again, as a buddy of the podcast, Rabtastic mentioned to me once while I was playing a different game, he was like, yeah, the game is really hard because like it's not like some games where you have like a template and you say, okay, well, I just want to connect this wall to that door, or this ceiling to that thing. Like, if it isn't structurally sound, it will come down under the weight of itself. So you could start building something that visually looks cool, but if it doesn't work mechanically, it will literally fall and kill
Yeah.
you, and like, or splinter into bits, and like things don't just magically snap together in the sense that they're going to hold because there's like this universal super glue magic making it
Yeah.
happen. And I think that's kind of neat. And so for me, I haven't played the game yet, but I like watching people do crazy constructions.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm really liking it, and it's just a bit more chilled out. It's the kind of game that I do love to play, like in my own time. Like I was big into like DayZ. Recently, I played a ton of 7 Days to Die, which I know you've played, Eve, and like it's kind of like one of those games that I just enjoy in my own personal time doing it. I would generally never want to stream those games, but it's been really good and people seem to be enjoying it. And like, it's one of those games that's actually worked surprisingly well for my stream, which is surprising to me. But yeah, I'm all about it because it's a bit more relaxing than constantly sweating and dealing with these fast-paced FPS games. So been a nice change for sure, and I definitely want to play more of it. I'm hoping, because I know the two of you have played a lot of this Loop Hero, I'm hoping you can explain it a bit to me because I don't really know what I'm looking at or what it is.
So you're a hero, and you're
Yeah.
on a loop.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, thank you. Great. Moving on.
I mean, you've kind of obsessed a bit, Eve. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah. So you're like, you don't have any memories, and no one has any memories, and you're just plopped into this loop, and you're running around and murdering goblins and things.
When you say loop,
But-
do you mean like a physical
So, yeah,
loop or a time
A
loop?
physical
or...
loop.
Okay,
A
right.
physical loop. So you're running around. You have to get back to. You're trying to gather up materials and everything for your camp, and you're going by every time you pass your camp. You can be like, "Oh, I'm gonna run away with all my materials." But if you push your luck and you get killed, you lose a bunch of shit, like 60% of stuff.
Oof.
And
It's
as you kill, you get more loot. You can like add things to the area. and like remember what the place looks like. Make it
Yeah,
more
it's
difficult or
it's
easier.
a really interesting mix of genres. Like it's on one hand it's a roguelike. So when you die, you're dead and you have to start over. But there's a semi-meta component where although you start over, you do have this sort of like base camp which you can improve upon. So there's like sort of a meta story that slowly unfolds, and you can keep making improvements to that base camp, which keeps giving you like new attributes and stuff to work with. But effectively, every time you go out into the world, you start an expedition, and that as you go on a loop, it literally just randomly generates a path that your character follows, and they will follow that for eternity, either until you die or you reach like a boss within the world. But it's a fixed path. But what you do is you have this roguelike character, and as you said, you push your luck because the more loops you make, the more resources you gather. The more resources you gather, the more you can bring back to your camp, which is good. And if you make a whole loop around, you get to leave without a penalty. But you also have cards, so it's a deck building game where before you start an expedition, you construct your deck of the cards you'll be dealt after you kill monsters. And so, like your hero, let's say, is going on the loop. Monsters randomly spawn. There's like a day-night cycle, so every new day, like new monsters spawn. And let's say you run into a monster, you slay them, you get a new card. That card might allow you to like turn one of the empty tiles into a certain land type. So you might
Okay.
turn it into a swamp, or you might turn it into a forest, or you might turn it into a village. And then those will spawn new things. So like a village with like a wheat field will start creating scarecrows. Scarecrows are kind of weak, but they also drop loot, like stuff like that. Um, there's vampire mansions. If you drop a vampire mansion like next to any type of terrain, if you have a fight there, vampires just happen to show up. Um, but like there's card synergy. So some of the cards like combo well off one another. So for anyone who's played like tabletop games, like any deck building games, like there's a board game called Clanked. There's a card game called Dominion. Dominion is a massively popular game, both like online now and in person. But it's one of those things where you build these engines, right? Like so you start out with a really small hand size and you basically run through your deck, and when your deck is when your hand size is empty and your deck is run through, you just shuffle it all back together. This is kind of like that, where you get dealt these cards. As you use them, to go back into the discard pile. When the discard pile is, or when the draw pile is empty, it's all shuffled. So you're deciding the engine that you create going into each expedition.
Right.
And so you determine what your own challenges are going to be. And in that sense, it's almost like a reverse tower defense game where, like there's mobile games where like, waves of enemies come at you and you're like, all right, I'm going to put a turret here. And then more like wave
I
two
love
comes
those
and it's
games.
harder enemies.
Bloons Tower Defense 4.
This is like that, but in reverse, where you're creating the enemy mobs and you know what your path is going to be. So rather
Right.
than you building the perfect defense and enemies and barricades and shit, and enemies have to funnel through it, you're actually creating the obstacles by choice. And you don't have to spend all the cards in your hand. So it's like how you place them, when you place them, and the synergy with which you organize them on the map will dictate all of that stuff. And here's the cool thing: you don't fucking do anything for fighting. It just happens on its own. It's like this, it looks like a JRPG
Okay.
style thing, but like you just choose your gear, like, oh, that sword's better than
And
this
hope you
sword.
don't die.
But they have modifiers. So like this one gives me an evasion bonus, this one gives me like a defense bonus. Like, and you try and min-max. So it's this addictive nature of you want to push your luck, so it has this kind of gambling high, right? Like, because you're running the risk of like, can I make it around, can I come out with all these resources? And you can also leave before any fight. And the cool thing is it also pauses frequently. Like you can just hit spacebar and like you could just talk to chat for 10 minutes if you want to. Like it's a game that is infinitely interruptible without losing any content along the way.
Hmm.
And in that sense, it's so fucking nice to stream because you could just do whatever you want. You want to go on a tangent about something, do it. You want to do it while you're talking, fine. If you just want to actually just let the game fucking run. Like you could set up your loop, and if you don't care about the cards that might like get discarded out of your hand, if your hand size is full, you could literally just sit there and let the game play and just like talk to chat. And it would just do its thing. Chances are, without any shepherding, you'd fuck up and die because every loop you go around, the enemies get harder. But yeah,
Ooh. And all the dialogue in the game is super fucking sassy. And I
it's
love it.
also very self-aware.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's
I've
like
seen
the
a lot of
characters
people
almost
playing
know
it.
they're in a game.
a bunch of people have said to me how they're just addicted to it and they can't stop. So
I don't know how much I've put into it so far.
I think you've played at least like 15 hours or something.
Oh.
I checked.
I ended stream the both days that I streamed it, I ended, and then I still played it for like an hour and a half.
Dude, that's me with Apex right now. I literally finished stream the last 4 or 5 days in a row and just kept playing Apex by myself, just because I love it.
Eva's played 10 hours. Knight,
Okay.
who started playing it after me, like he watched me play it on stream, bought it. He has played it for 35 hours already.
Damn.
And this was like 4 days ago.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
But you know what? I love that we're at this position now where these games are just blowing up, right? Like, you know, instead of looking forward to the next AAA title that's coming out, you're getting surprised with these smaller games. I mean, I think Valheim, someone said, had like a development team of like 2 or 3 people, and it sold 5 million copies in the first month or something crazy like that.
This sold 500,000 in the first week, like first 5 business days.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
What's wild is the file size is 1.1 megabyte. It literally is small enough you could put it on like an old, not like the floppy ones, but the old plastic like disk drives.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's so
Valheim's-
small.
Valheim's the same. I went to download it before stream thinking like, oh, this is going to take a while. And it was like 500 megabytes, full game. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I love that we're in this place now where these sort of smaller games are becoming huge. I mean, we all know about Among Us. I don't know. It's kind of an
what game is that?
exciting. Yeah, you played like 700 hours, Eve.
It's only like 110, okay?
Okay. There was a while there where every single time I looked at Discord, you were just playing Among Us.
See, now
With
whenever I
randoms.
want to play that with randoms, I have to log out of Discord, turn off my like online thing for Steam. Otherwise, Wizard will at me in Discord and be like, "What are you doing?" The screenshots like nothing. Shut up.
But I mean, it's kind of a nice time to be a gamer. You know, if you know what I mean, like you're not having to.
It's never been a good time to be a gamer.
Yeah,
We're the most
I mean,
depressed.
if you think about it, in the next, let's say, year gap, is there any games that we're actually excited for?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Pokemon Snap next month.
So to your
We
point,
might have lost
Cyber, I
Eve.
think
Oh, no.
I
She's
think
fine.
that's why games like this, like Fall Guys,
Oh,
like
you
Loop
didn't hear
Hero,
me? Sorry, I screamed Pokemon Snap next month, and apparently I just cut out.
Yeah, I thought I was worried
So-
your internet had gone there for a second, but no, you're back.
I think
hear
that's why
we
these
lost
games
Eve.
end up being huge because they are a surprise. They feel like they've come out of left field. There's almost this like sort of nausea with like AAA games where the development times are now so long. Games will get announced like years before they come out. Like we'll see a trailer for, like the next Skyrim, and it just is like a flyover of a mountain range, and we don't see anything for 3 fucking years.
Yeah.
And so it's like this kind of stuff is in our consciousness, but it doesn't stick around. Or at least like it doesn't, it's hard to kind of like feel wrapped up in it, where these little games come along, you watch somebody play it or you hear about it, and then you pick it up and you're like, shit, that's only like $10, $15. And then you're just blown away. I think for me, a lot of the AAA games that continue to come out haven't really done anything to innovate gameplay. They're largely just pushing graphical advances in technology.
Yeah.
And like, so, some of them, or they're taking an existing franchise and really just improving the hell out of it. Like I know the new Spider-Man game, everyone loved and said was amazing, but it's built on the back of previous Spider-Man games. I mean, in terms of its inspiration, how it aspects of those games made their way into what there is now, and obviously improvements were made along the way. But Loop Hero, like I've never played a game like it. I mean, I've played other games like it, so I could say, oh, it's a deck builder like this game, but it's a tower defense like that game. But like I can't quite put my finger on it. It's a mishmash of a bunch of stuff, but it feels fresh. Like and that stuff is interesting because I feel like indie game developers are the best asset that they have right now is pushing the limit for new gameplay.
Yeah.
Not necessarily new graphics, but like just something that feels innovative. Like Lauren and I did last Campfire on stream. That is my game of last year. It's not Warzone. It was last Campfire. Like it was heartbreaking. It was beautiful. It was great puzzles. It was everything that I wanted in a game of its type. It was there, and I loved it. And it was the same people who did No Man's Sky. Like and yeah.
With your description, heartbreaking, emotional, you're just describing Warzone.
Yeah, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah, true.
Not for the right reasons.
4.
No, but
Yeah.
you're right, and it's awesome that we're in a place where, you can really see that it doesn't necessarily have to be about the most polished, high fidelity graphics that go well. And I think it's because we've been burned by these AAA games so many times. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we can all agree that Cyberpunk shouldn't have released when it released. It should have been another couple years, tops. Or
I had a
at
good
least.
time.
I had a
good
good
time.
experience with it.
I just
Luckily-
like running around with my katana.
Yeah,
I shot a gun once, and then I found a katana, and that's literally all I used for the rest of the
I
game.
used the big arm spike things like for most of it. But then
I
Mantis
liked
blades.
them
I
all
didn't
right.
find-
I
But-
liked the katana
I
better.
didn't find the combat in Cyberpunk enjoyable at all.
It's not that
It
good.
was run up to a person and just slash them for a while.
Okay,
Like-
but what difficulty did you play it on?
Medium, normal, whatever it was.
I played it on the hardest difficulty, and I found the combat a lot more enjoyable because it wasn't just like a couple of slashes and then somebody was dead. You had to like physically work for that kill.
You had to be really tactical
Yeah.
in your positioning.
Like they
I-
could maybe 2 or 3 shots and you would be dead.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you play it on medium, you could just keep healing through it.
Yeah, that's a fair
Yeah.
point. I just think like,
Throw some cheese poofs in your face and call it good.
I just think that the well, I enjoyed that you had to take an inhaler to heal because that's how I heal in real life. So, that I could relate to that. That was nice. But yeah, I mean, it just shows that games that have a good experience are getting the recognition that they deserve. Like, Among Us clearly is so popular because it's a good social game. And it doesn't have to have the best of everything. So we're in this place now where any game could come out at any time and just explode without
Yeah.
Well,
months and
one-
months of hype building up to it.
One thing I will say is the community that's actually behind it heavily influences the actual game sales nowadays. Because if you imagine Among Us came out before, let's assume that Twitch didn't exist. Do you think it would do as well?
No, absolutely not.
So I feel like any game could be like taken on board by a handful of like AAA streamers, like or big YouTubers, and just cascade the sales for that game into
Sure.
oblivion. So I mean, if we're all fairly seasoned when it comes to gaming, our first console was probably the Mega Drive or the original Nintendo. Loop Hero was a game that like came out when I was like 5 or 6. Let's be honest, there was different variants for that type of game, but it's refreshing seeing it now when you've got like these polished Warzone games where the graphics are absolutely stunning, and then you've got a game that's, what did you say, 1.5 megabits? Like, with it-
1.1.
with 8-bit graphics, and I'm assuming some dodgy music that's catchy as fuck. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's refreshing when you
and
get games like
the
that.
irony of it is that, like, graphically, it could have been on a Nintendo cartridge, but conceptually, it couldn't have existed then either.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
needed. It's interesting because you almost needed this lineage of game iteration over the course of several decades to introduce concepts like having not just a card mechanic but like a deck builder, like building an engine, or like having this sort of like resource thing, like, because the games of yesteryear, the back in the golden age, so to speak, like, they were fun and they were rudimentary in terms of their mechanics, but they were solid, and they were just very polished because they didn't try to overreach. It's interesting to see game developers do the same thing today, realizing that, the graphics don't have the fidelity doesn't need to be, through the roof. It just needs to be fun. And to see developers embrace that and really capitalize on how can we make a thrilling and engaging game rather than something that just, makes you just thirst to like upgrade your graphics card. Because ultimately what will keep you playing longer are those games that stick with you after you've shut off the system, the
Mhm.
ones that you wish that you were still playing, the ones that you, and some of that, and
The
sometimes
ones
that is
cause
because of
those
the
weird
graphics.
fucking dreams where you wake up and you're like,
Yeah.
I should have played this card. Oh no, it's okay.
But like, and sometimes that has happened with me, like, when Battlefield 1 was out, like, I'm a big World War One, like, buff, and I really loved the setting and I love the mechanics. I've loved the Battlefield franchise, and I'd go to sleep like really I wishing I was playing, like, it stayed with me. And part of that was because of how immersive it was, because of the technology, because of the graphics of the time. But like, it also nailed the gameplay. I just think that that's a hard recipe for AAA games to hit now, where often they're just not pushing the gameplay or the end game. Maybe the initial mechanics are fun, maybe like the campaign is all right, but when you beat it, you're done because it's narrative. It's meant to just go from A to B and then beginning to end. Things like Loop Hero, it's like there is kind of a story, but there isn't. With like Among Us, there isn't a story. It's what you make it.
You make
You
the
are the
story.
story.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're kind of missing those games where
the story is yelling at children.
Yay.
it's I think those are the most successful ones to me long term, where they are just infinitely replayable. I mean, Tetris. What is Tetris? It's not anything. It's just, it's just
And
blocks,
I spent
but
like almost every waking hour at my last job playing Tetris. we had a competition between all of us to see who would have the overall high score. It was great. You used to get so pissed off when the phone would ring because I'm like, oh, come on, I have to pause my game. Unbelievable. Anyway, should we talk a little Twitch?
yeah.
I got follow botted this past week again,
Oh,
How many this time?
like 700 almost.
Did you figure out who did it? Can we go and kneecap
No,
them?
so I think I don't know why I think this, but I think it was maybe just a bot that was sitting in my channel that was sporadically spitting out follow bots. The reason I say that is they came in waves. So I would get like 90 and then I'd get nothing for 20 minutes and then I'd get another 100 and then nothing. And then at one point it waited like 2 hours and then hit me with another 100. And it just kept going. But then the thing is, when I raided someone at the end of that stream, they then started to get hit with the bots as well, which makes me think maybe there was just a bot sitting in my channel that was just spitting them out, and then that got transferred over, and it started spitting them into the other channel. Very weird.
So how does it make you feel that you gave a fellow streamer STDs?
I mean, it was gone, so oh well.
Yeah,
It was a stream. It was a streaming transmitted disease.
He'll get over it. It's fine.
Yeah.
The so the annoying thing about it is everyone was telling me, use what's it
Commander
called? Commander Root, right? Which is obviously a third-party software you can use to remove follows. I was scared to do it. Well, I am still scared to do it because I know, like, we had our guest Pigeon on. We had a whole episode where he accidentally removed all of his followers and went back to 0 using Commander Root, which is obviously kind of terrifying when you've been at it for as many years as I have, and I don't want to do that. And also, there was a lot of genuine followers appeared in the channel that day, so to purge a whole day of followers means losing people that were in the chat and enjoying and becoming part of the community, which is kind of an awkward situation. I raised a support ticket with Twitch, told them the date, told them the approximate number. I even told them, like, the bots seem to share these particular keywords in their names. I haven't heard anything back yet, but
I still haven't heard anything back yet. And
no.
what was that, like 6 months ago or something like that?
Yeah.
I just don't think they give a shit. They've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, it's annoying, right? Because at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, follower count is kind of irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. In terms of Twitch metrics, I feel like it's just not an important number. You can have channels with way less followers than me that will have more average viewers, and vice versa. Like, there's
got a perfect anecdote for that.
Yeah, there's all these
Something
things.
that happened recent.
The only thing that is a little bit upsetting is it ruins milestones, right? Because that follow bot got me over 4K, and now I can't celebrate. Like, hey, we hit 4,000 followers, because it's like, we didn't really. So it's like, it ruins
what you do
that.
Is you just take the number that you got from the follow bot, and now you celebrate 4,700.
Yeah, it's just, it ruins it though. Like, it kind of ruins the experience. So that sucked, but nothing we
you
can
could
do.
celebrate it by doing the robot on stream.
We could, I suppose.
There was a guy who basically got outed by so in Call of Duty Warzone, there is a woman, a model. Her name is Alex Zedra. She streams, but she's also the basis for the Mara character in the game. She hosted someone who then, like, she just randomly hosted someone who was part of a tournament after, I guess, ending the stream, and then regretted it because then she realized that person was aimbotting. They were cheating, and then turns out that, well, no, because the one person was definitely cheating.
Oh, it was horrendous cheating.
Yeah, and the why is even funnier because it was a one of a couple. So there was a guy and a gal, a romantic pair, and she was outed as cheating during this tournament, but her boyfriend was even worse. And apparently, Nixie pointed it out to me and dropped something in the Discord. We looked him up. His name was Bearded Banger. His account is now suspended. And to substantiate Candy's claim that, like, followers don't, like, numbers just don't really matter, this guy was like, talking shit on, this woman who is a Twitch partner. He was talking shit on this person who's, like, very, visible within the community. It's like, I'm fucking on track to get partner within a couple days. He had streamed 6 days. He started his streaming his channel with 44,000 follows. And if you look at his Twitch tracker, it's just a straight line for follows. It goes from like 44,000 to like 46,000. And he had only streamed 6 times. And by his like 6th stream was trending at 80 or 76 concurrent viewers. Like, and in his head, there's a clip of him just being like, oh yeah, fuck you so and so. Like, I'm about to get partner this week. And it's like, no,
no,
you're not. And in fact, now you've just lost. I think it was like within 24 hours he lost his account, and it's like, what was that for? Like, what's the point? I don't understand. Like, what the point of follow bots are?
It's people that aren't on Twitch, that don't watch Twitch, that just think, I've cracked it. I can just pay for view bots and follow bots and get partner easy, and it's like they don't realize that. We can all tell. Everyone knows
it's a public API. You can check anyone's stats at any time. You could Google any of the 4 of us, anyone from the podcast. Just like go to twitchtracker.com and plug us in. Your favorite streamer, do it. You won't be able to necessarily see their sub count unless they make that public, but like you can see all of their numbers, their hours watched, their follows, how many days they stream, a heat map of the days they stream over the course of a year. Everything is public. You can see their gains, their losses, where it's trending up, trending down. It's all there. So how anyone thinks that, like, they'd be able to fool Twitch by applying for partner, because again, you get sent the invite if you're eligible, or you get the opportunity to submit an application if eligible.
Yeah.
But many people, who are legitimate have to submit like several times. because they just don't meet the criteria, and whatever that
Right.
nebulous criteria is, we don't know what Twitch is looking for. We know the metrics, but we don't know like what makes for the perfect candidate.
Well, that's a good
Johnny, you've
transition
got
into
this
the
weird
next one.
suspicious jump in followers on Twitch Tracker.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of it. But that's a good transition into the next topic that everyone's worried about, which is this brand safety score that Cyber's going to explain to us. Try to remain calm. But effectively,
I'm gonna premise this that people are stupid. Don't jump to conclusions on shit that you don't understand.
there has been
Please.
this post going around social media where someone has discovered that Twitch has this hidden brand safety score for every channel. And they claim, and I'm not super educated on this, so apologies if I'm not quite right on this, but they claim it's based on the type of games you play, how many times you've been banned or had bans, whether or not you've got the 18 plus on your stream, things like that, and they rank you on how brand safe you are. And people seem to think that this is going to affect your ad revenue or things like that. So please go ahead and explain, Cyber.
This model of brand safety has been around since Twitch first introduced ads, right? The only reason why this one has been discovered is because Twitch is now rolling out all of the ad brands that Amazon has. So whatever you have on any Amazon products, whether it be Amazon Prime or whatever, they're now using those companies that they've had for a long time and put them in the catalog for Twitch, right? People who think that this is like a ranking system, they've already explained that there's 4 types of ranking system, and it's not what you expect. It's either you are safe to advertise on, right? You are like, let's go with like a color wheel. So green, you're all good. You can be like, you can still qualify for ads, all that kind of stuff. Yellow, right, is where you've either been banned or you've had some suspicious things happen on your account, like what Grog was just talking about, where somebody had 44,000 followers before they had even streamed. And then you've got red, right, which is basically you've either been banned before, you say some dumb shit on stream, you've had mass reporting where you've said like some racist or sexist shit, right? And then that's it, right? It's just it's a very simple API. Boom, done. It's not what people think it is. People keep thinking that Amazon is like controlling how much you would actually make from ads, but we all know it's a fixed CPM.
Yeah.
So people aren't gonna control what you've actually got. People are making judgments on shit that they don't understand and don't know how to run a business. And it frustrates the fucking life out of me when you get these keyboard warriors.
Yeah. So bottom line, don't worry about it. Don't stress. It's really not important and not a big deal. But people
No,
seem to be
it's
worried
really
about
not.
it. Doesn't seem like it's something that we need to concern
I
ourselves
remember
with.
something like that happening with YouTube where people were worried about that.
It's the exact same model as YouTube.
But
And
I
people are
think,
like, oh, well, Twitch are gonna like take away the
There's a
money
big
that I'm
gap.
making from ads, and it's like, no, they already take a fixed amount from your ad revenue. They're not gonna take any less, they're not gonna take any more.
the thing is with YouTube, as far as I understand it, the more brand safe you are going to earn more from ads generally.
It's so they have a variable CPM, right? They don't
Yeah.
have a fixed CPM. So you could make a deal with sponsors or whatever and like tailor your content to that. So let's say you run a financial stream and you get an ad for Cash App. You're gonna make more money from that because you've got a better brand for that ad to be actually viewed on that channel and all that kind of stuff. Whereas you can get an ad for anything on Twitch.
Yeah.
It's not specific companies targeting your stream specifically because you're making content based around that advert. And until the day that Twitch actually adopts that model, it's not going to change. You don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You are absolutely right. Speaking of things people have been worrying about, though, there was another tweet which kind of blew up this past week. Apologies, I'm not logged into Twitter on this account, and it's on light mode, so my apologies here. But yeah, so there was a tweet that blew up showing, if you go to your subscriptions tab on Twitch and you choose to cancel a subscription, it will generally ask you what your reason is for canceling that subscription, and this is for Twitch's own market research to understand why people would choose to cancel a sub or whatever. And one of the options, which was noticed recently, was I just wanted to get a shout out. And the thing with that is, if you cancel a subscription within 10 minutes, you can get a refund. So you just get all your money back. The streamer won't get, a cut from it. Twitch won't get a cut. You just get a full refund. So people were panicking and thinking this is just Twitch basically trying to, or not trying to, but basically Twitch suggesting that you could subscribe. The streamer could go, hey, Condyfly, thank you for the sub. And I could go, I got my shout out, just tab over here, cancel the sub, refund the money, move on with my day, go do it to 5 other people, right?
And the thing too is that there's your overlay, like your events list, your event feed. None of that's gonna be reflected in terms of it shows stuff that's added, not reduced.
Can I set up an alert for when someone unsubs? That would be great.
Oh, that would
just out them.
Have an alert for someone canceling the sub.
Yo, thank you so much for unsubbing.
That used to be a thing on Mixer, by the way.
Did it really? Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So you know the Mixer bot that we use?
Yes.
If somebody unfollows, you have the option to basically make that an event, so it would pop up, blah 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 has unfollowed.
Oh,
but
superb.
You used to be able to do it with subs as well.
So at least in Twitch's case, that's not happening. So the panic, which you can understand, is that people in the streaming community saw this and they're just like, well, that's fucked up. Because if somebody's like, yo, it's me, XQC, thank you so much for the sub, blah blah blah, and then the person just, refunds it themselves. They got the shout out, they potentially got their name on the ticker, their name is maybe listed in an event feed that's in an overlay, and then they got their money back, and without any, I think, and with no processing fees, I think. So but here's the kicker, is that just as Cyber pointed out before, that not everything is as it appears on its surface. This goes back, this terms of service thing in terms of canceling a subscription has been in effect for years.
Yeah.
And apparently, I think, Condi, you found out that they said that they've had this in place since 2018.
Apparently, the I just wanted to get a shout out was a reason. I mean, I'll read the tweets.
Was a reason, yeah.
Because the Twitch support replied to this particular tweet. And they said, thanks for kicking off the conversation. This limited refund window was originally introduced to protect against accidental purchases. Okay, that makes sense. We've all known that you can cancel and refund a sub within 10 minutes. That's been on the site for a long time. And it said, these cancellation reasons were added in 2018 to capture why viewers are seeking refunds, right? So, again, that's just for their market research, so they can see if there's any trends of reasons that they were cancelling subs. Makes perfect sense, right? And they also said to note that gift subs cannot be refunded this way, right? So if you're somebody that was concerned that you might get a bunch of gifted subs that would get immediately refunded, that's not possible, apparently. They went on to say, this info is used to improve the subscription experience for creators and subscribers. We did not intend to make it seem like we're encouraging this behavior, and based on community feedback, we're removing the shout out option. So they're taking away the button to click that says, I just wanted a shout out. But nothing else really changes, right?
And you could just click other. There's the categories are like financial reasons, I accidentally subscribed, I only wanted to subscribe for 1 month, the channel benefits aren't what I expected, and then there's an anomalous other category where you can give feedback or not. It's up to you.
There's one better though. You don't need to select any of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can literally just go to the window and it says unsubscribe, and then obviously it pops up that list, and then you can just hit like continue to cancel subscription. You don't need to even give them any feedback.
Absolutely. So the thing is, it's still an option. You know, people could still choose to do that, and you could also even make the argument that by tweeting this out and making this so visible, you're almost making it more likely that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's good that Twitch has removed the I just wanted a shout out reason, because I mean, why was that even there in the first place? I mean, honestly, that's kind of crazy. But then I guess, I mean, I don't know.
So
like,
we could do that right now
what?
to this channel.
We could subscribe
Yeah.
and then cancel it. So the
Yeah.
thing is, I've never canceled a sub within the first 10 minutes before. So I have maybe had one where it's been running and I think I don't watch this person that much anymore, or maybe they're in a different time zone and I can't see them as much. I'll maybe just cancel that sub because it's been going for like X amount of months, and you know, maybe I'll just wait till I next catch the stream to resub again or whatever, right? I don't think I've ever seen the I just wanted a shout out option. Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough, but is that there
And maybe
all the
because
time?
you didn't do it in that 10-minute window.
Well, that's
too.
what I was going to ask. If you do it within the 10 minutes, is it different options that it's giving you?
We would
know.
need to do it.
'Cause I don't know.
We need
Maybe
to test it.
yeah, we'll have to test it because again, it's
Everyone
for listeners
listening.
at home and Metabot Eve, thank you so much for the sub hype in chat.
Where the
Go ahead
fuck
and
do
cancel
I
your
go?
subscription now, and let us know what happens. I
doing
mean,
a bit of science
so
here, so
initially, one of the reasons why, while Eve is doing her test, one of the reasons why I initially saw this brought up was out of some concern that there's plenty of streamers, specifically people who are LGBTQ plus aligned or female streamers, often are targets of harassment on the platform. And when I initially saw this mentioned, the tweet was, "Oh, great, another way for people to harass a streamer because let's say, like you say something shitty in chat, but maybe you don't get banned, or maybe you haven't said something shitty yet, but there's plenty of evidence showing that people have used subs with like fake accounts to, they just make a dummy account. The name is something offensive for the account, and then they get hit with a wave of like subs or follows, and streamers have had to like move their webcam to put it over their overlay, or they have to disable shout outs like while on stream because they're maybe in a tournament, or maybe they're just in the course of the regular stream and they're just getting hit with hate speech. And initially that was the reaction when I first saw it reported. Like somebody's like, "Oh, you're gonna allow people to just like cancel on a whim just because they feel like it? Like, how
Yeah.
stupid is that?"
And if I cancel, can I automatically resub? We'll test that. It's not an option anymore. I only wanted to subscribe for a month. The channel benefits are not what I expected. I accidentally subscribed, financial reasons and other.
so maybe
What
the
if I
shout
click
out
other?
option
Oh, it
was
just gives
always
a
there, and
box.
I just never saw it.
Yeah. So I think that again, this is a thing where the tool has been placed for many years. It only came to light recently because it kind of got passed around social media. I think we can all agree that the initial option that Twitch gave, the "I just wanted a shout out," was kind of boneheaded and tone deaf.
Mhm.
It really just should have said, "I'm a douche," and that should have been the thing that you click to say like, I just wanted a shout out, parentheses, I'm a douchebag." But like beyond that, it's kind of a nothing burger. There's no real drama here. It's just a company needs to have a way to refund accidental subscriptions.
Yeah,
And
they're
like
not going to take
there's
that away.
no.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So Eve has just tested that you could constantly subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she subbed again.
Maybe knowledge that we shouldn't know.
So within I don't know what the first timestamp was, but within like 5 minutes, she subbed, canceled, and subbed again. And Stream Elements gave her 2 shout outs. And if we had overlays, that event list would have been triggered twice.
Yeah. So it is,
like,
yeah, it's
yeah.
it's one of those things that obviously could be used for nefarious purposes. But there's not really a lot we can do. Personally, I've never seen it happening yet.
More effort than I think trolls are willing to put in.
I agree.
Most, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
obviously,
think,
it's not going to affect, as they mentioned, gift subs. So you're not going to have these people dropping bombs of gift subs and then immediately refunding, things like that. Obviously, this has been an issue with like direct donations for a long time with streamers, where somebody will maybe make a big donation and then just claim it back or charge back. It's been an issue that's been going on for a long time. I don't think there's a fix to it. Like you said, we need to keep that refund window because it might be an accident that someone's chosen, or maybe I sub at tier 3 when I didn't mean to, right? And then I can cancel that and go back and like, oh, sorry, tier 1. There you go. Sorry about that. But it's
I'll send back the feet pics.
I think until PayPal actually realizes Twitch is a business, I don't think there's really anything that we can do, because their kind of motto is the customer's always right. You can dispute it right off the bat without a reason, really. You just say, I didn't receive the service that I was paying for. A lot of people trip themselves up by calling them donations. It's not a donation, it's a tip. So you are not running a charity, and that's how you can get through a lot of the issues originally. It's like, well, I donated to this channel and they're not actually a charity, so that's why I refunded it. And usually 99.9% of the time they'll win. But if you say it was a tip and you can provide the screenshots that they just tipped you, PayPal will 100% see you in favor and make sure that all the charges are dropped and you keep the money.
Yeah,
Gonna check my wording now.
That's a good tip. You could say.
Yeah.
Thank you for donating that tip to the podcast.
I was the exact same. I used to have thank you for the donation, blah blah blah. These are non-refundable, blah blah blah. But like, you see, when you start diving into like the law and the legality aspect of it, we're not a charity, and if we're saying this is a donation, then technically we're lying, so it's our fault, even though it's kind of not.
Yeah, it's those weird wording things.
But if you call it a tip, 100% they will see it in your favor, as long as you can provide screenshots. Because it's almost like if they specifically ask for something within that message, some people do. There's an amazing streamer called Miss Liz who does. If you use some of your channel points, it's like a Tarkov roulette. So it'll like automatically pick like a gun, armor, headset, all that kind of shit, and you go away and do it. So if you imagine the kind of aspect of if you pay to specifically do something, how like Tim the Tatman used to do top D, and then he would have, it was usually links associated with it. So so if he didn't play that link, I paid for that link to be showed on your stream. You didn't do it, so that's why I've refunded the money. It gets so fucking messy.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to ask, or to kind of go through a question that I saw in chat as well from Hawk, saying, have any of us ever been hit with like hate speech or trolls in our streams?
I have.
And yeah,
So
I feel like
many.
that might be a good topic to kind of finish up on and kind of run through it.
Surprisingly, and I hope I'm not like incurring it. Since I came out, I've only had like 3 trolls mention it, and one of them was just so low tier. It was like gay bad. It's like, what? It's like, I'm sorry, did you mean to say something? There's slurs for me, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks. Nobody likes getting a troll or someone whose only purpose is in there to mess with you. I mean, there's a ton we could say on it. I guess briefly giving my stance on it, there's 2 main ways you can deal with a troll. You can just ban, get rid of them, get them out of the way, or you can try and kind of make it into content, make it into a joke. There's obviously a line, like for me, if somebody comes in and they're trying to troll, but they're not necessarily saying anything super, they're not being racist or not being homophobic or whatever, that's maybe fine. If they just come in and like, oh, you're trash, then like you can play around with it if you want. obviously if there's a line that you're not comfortable with them crossing, then you just get them out, just ban them. Having mods that are aware of where the line is in your channel is very important. I've had it go both ways, where I've had sometimes stuff gets through that I'm maybe not super comfortable with, that I would deal with, or sometimes I've had mods that go way too far and are getting rid of people when they maybe shouldn't be. It's important, when you're at a point where you've got a few mods kicking about, that you do set that level, that expectation of here's what's okay, here's what's not okay. Generally, a good mod, if they've been around your channel a while, they know where that line is.
And you do a good job of that, Connie, because you have like a monthly or bi-monthly meeting with your mods.
I used to. I haven't in a long time, and that's on me.
I mean,
Okay, you're born there.
I come.
No, you're
Jesus.
right, but that's a thing that I've done. So with generally with my mods, with all the current mods, I would actually have a conversation with them before just going, "Hey, you're modded." I've modded in channels where like, I just like this streamer, and then they're like, "Oh, I've seen your name a lot before. You're a mod now." Right? I think I might still be a mod for MTashed. Like, I don't even see his stream anymore because he lives in Canada. It's a completely different time zone. But he just was like, "Oh, you're a mod now." With all my mods, I think generally I would shoot them a message and say, "Here's kind of, I notice you're in the channel a good bit. I think you're a good influence, blah, blah, blah. Is that something you'd be interested in? Here, these are the sort of things I would want for you to do." And make sure you have that conversation first. And I've had people say, "No, I just want to be a viewer. I don't want to deal with it." And it's like, cool. But then there's some people that are like, yeah, I would like to maybe come in for a trial period, see how I get on. And you set that level early. And then, yeah, I for a while I was going through and having regular meetings with mods. I need to get back on top of that. But that was a really good way of kind of, in my head, it was like a calibration to be like, here's what's changed. Here's kind of where that line is, and move forward from there, and and set that expectation, and kind of, it sounds really dumb, but I was a manager at McDonald's for a long time, and I was in charge of what they were called crew trainers. So if you ever went to McDonald's, you've got crew member, crew trainer, manager. The crew trainer has they're slightly above the crew level, and they do some training. And as a manager, my responsibility was kind of being in charge of those crew trainers. So every month I would have a calibration with them where we would set that expectation of what we needed to do and what level was appropriate. And I kind of was looking at mods the same way, where like we're just all getting on the same page once a month and then carrying on. And then that way any issues can be ironed out or anything that changes. Because you all know, like, if you stream, no month is the same. Some months are, depending on the game you're playing or the community or what's trending, what's not, you're going to have all sorts of different things changing.
You're going to think I'm taking the piss, but honestly, I feel like you've pierced the veil and given me insight into how organized McDonald's really is. Like, I never really thought about how much care McDonald's maybe actually put into,
Oh, yeah.
operation.
I don't know if it's the same in the States, but over here, I mean, certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
This new one literally just opened up around the corner and it's fucking chaos. It's like no one's seen a fucking cheeseburger in their life.
It's because they don't have a combi.
That's what happened with God, I can't even remember. It's some burger place that they have on the East Coast or the West Coast or somewhere other than the middle of the fucking country.
Is it In-N-Out by any chance?
That might be it. It opened up and like there were lines for like hours.
So Conti, you can attest to this. Can you remember when Dunkin' Donuts and Krispy Kreme opened up for the first time in Edinburgh?
Yes.
There was lines literally so bad that the police had to come out because they were queuing up along the motorway and causing crashes.
There was people in my town that were going to Edinburgh to get donuts and then come back. Like, it's craziness.
There was like thousands of people in this line over the course of a day. Like tens of thousands of people. So bad that the police had to be like, "You're no longer in this line. Fuck off home, please."
Yeah. But sorry, to get back on topic, I mean, I've definitely seen trolls. I've had death threats, and I've had...
That's water off a duck's back now. After you've had the first one, it's like, shut the fuck up.
I've had stuff that's really affected me. I mean, sometimes you get things that just you don't even... I had a viewer come in and they were just being dumb and I banned them and then they started whispering me and I I kind of argued in whispers privately while I was live with this person until I got so frustrated that I blocked them. And that was where I think I've got the option turned on to block whispers from strangers now, which is sad because if a viewer's like, oh, I want to show you this video or something, I would usually be like, oh, whisper it to me. But now I can't do that because, you know, people that get banned will then go to that and try and harass and be difficult. And people will really go far. I mean, the guy that ended up giving me death threats started messaging me on Steam because he was like, had added me on Steam at some point. And you know, it's crazy. It really is tough, but you have to protect yourself first.
Didn't start as an issue with like a viewer. It was like a friend from a while back who found out that I streamed, and like we had a pretty big falling out. And he started messaging me on Twitch and then Steam and all these other things. I was like, when is he gonna find the next place? How many things do I have to block you on? Fuck off.
Yeah, it can be horrible, but my best advice is if somebody is making you uncomfortable, like obviously if they're a really bad troll, you can just get rid. You can just ban and move on with your day, right? And that's fine. And you have to understand that a lot of the time these people are just doing it for attention. They're just trying to get a rise out of you. And, you know, I've had issues where maybe, you know, someone will say something in chat and I'll ban them or a mod will ban them. And then, you know, people in chat are like, oh, what happened? Well, you know, they want to keep talking about it. And it's like, that's giving them what they want. You know, you need to just ban and move on. Or, like I say, you can try and just make it into a joke, make it into content, play around with them. You know, if what they've said isn't maybe too bad. Yeah, I've also had people come in that try and troll in maybe a more funny way, and then they realize like, oh hey, shit, I had somebody go, this is actually my alt account that I just used to mess with people, but I actually really fucking like the vibe in here. Hang on, I'm gonna come back on my main account, and then they hang out in the channel. There's really no cut and dry way to deal with it. You know, having good mods, being on top of it. And here's the biggest piece of advice I'll give you. And I've said this to so many people. I've experienced it so many times, and it's horrible. It is horrible. If you've got a community member that's not specifically trolling, but they're making everything really difficult. Okay, and God touch wood, I've not had one in a while, but sometimes you get someone come in and they're just maybe argumentative or they're very nitpicky and they're just causing discomfort in your chat. They're, you know, they're just there to just piss you and everyone else off, right? That's what they're doing, but they're not crossing a line. They're specifically not crossing that line.
They're dancing on the line.
That is where you have the biggest problem, especially right as a small streamer, because in your head you're thinking, I can't afford to lose a viewer, you know? And if I ban this person, they're going to leave, and then I'm going to have, you know, one less viewer. That's a horrible thing to overcome when you first start out, and it's something that I struggled with because I was like, well, this person's actually here watching me, so maybe I can tolerate it. Or on the other hand, maybe you think, well, this is a person that's been part of the community for a while and they've always been kind of fine, and recently they've started to cause this issue. Then you have the other problem as well, and you're thinking, you start to rationalize it to yourself and say, well, they've never actually really crossed the line. I don't really have good reason to ban them. I just kind of fucking hate when I see their name in chat because then I immediately feel stressed out or anxious. You have got to just take care of that. You got to just get rid of it because it'll affect your ability to stream, and I guarantee you others in chat will not want to be there, and it will hurt your growth long term. I can't stress it enough.
The biggest piece of advice I can give anybody, if you have the demeanor, I find that public humiliation actually works the best way. Like there's some streamers that I watch and they chastise the shit out of the trolls, like to the point where I'm like, holy fuck, he said that, and it gets rid of them. Like
that's like one of the reasons I started watching Rotten Poppy so much, because people would come in and say something shitty. She'd be like, I don't know if you're trying to joke around, but shut the fuck up. And it's like, oh,
the funniest
talk to shitty people that way.
the funniest ones with Rotten Poppy, it's when somebody calls it like beautiful or something like that, and she just like zooms in on her face and she's like, I'm like, for fuck's sake.
There was a question to kind of as a callback to mods. There was a question that was raised in chat that says, do you think if a new viewer came into a channel and saw lots of mods, they would be a bit intimidated to talk and maybe hesitant to type in chat? That is 100%. To say, if most of chat is just green swords.
See,
All of swords.
I've never personally felt that, and it's honestly not something I've even thought much about. I mean, I guess looking at it now, yeah, it could absolutely be intimidating to someone, but for me, it's never been an issue because I think, or the way I think about it is that if this is a community, particularly if you're going into like a positive community, those mods should just be an extension of the streamer, and therefore, you know, it's really difficult because you need to know the vibe of the channel and then kind of see when the mod's there. But I mean, if people feel that way, I'd love to know about it. I'm just it's not something that I've ever considered thought about when I'm in a new channel. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah.
There has been times where I've went into new channels and like literally the only person speaking, like let's assume that this person's got like 20 or 30 viewers and the only people that are speaking are mods. That's the only time that I've really kind of switched off and went, I don't really like the vibe of this place. But if somebody was a mod in a channel and just having banter and talking generalized like shit, it personally wouldn't make me switch off. Because what is the sword really? They have power in a chat, they're still people, that wouldn't sway me away from actually physically typing.
Yeah,
in
and
a
I mean,
chat.
if you say something that you don't consider to be offensive or mean and you get banned for it, then you're not,
Meant for
maybe
that
that's not a
channel.
community that you're welcome in. I
Mhm.
mean, like I
Yeah.
say, I've had issues in the past with mods being a little power crazy, and maybe I'm having a nice conversation with someone and it's going great and they're a new viewer and they're happy to be there, and then for no reason a mod will just start attacking, right? I've had that problem.
That
and
has never happened. for
that
me
is when you need to have a conversation with that mod. It's tough.
So-
And that's what I'm talking about with cutting out those toxic people. And I don't mean that to be like, you're toxic, blah, 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 because that I'm not trying to say that about someone, but someone can sometimes just be emitting that toxic atmosphere in your chat, whether they mean to or not. And it is so hard. You've all had to deal with me saying like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I've personally been invited into other Discord calls. There was I'm not going to name names, but there's a streamer I'm friends with who was in a call with his mods and asked me to join, and they were having the exact same problem. And it was nice in a way because I was able to say, I've been through this. I've had this exact situation, and I've come out the other side, and this is what you have to do, because the longer you leave it, the worse it's going to get. You got to just deal with that shit quickly. And it might hurt short term. It might suck. You might lose a viewer. But if it's the right thing for your channel, it will be worth it.
There was one conversation that I had where I rated a streamer and they were like, hey, like, how was your stream? Blah, blah, blah. So obviously I typed back saying like stream was good, blah, blah, blah. And the mod actually called me out for self-promoting. And I don't know why. I just had to like look at the fucking screen and say, are you a fucking dumbass? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like some mods are just way too quick to, like, they're not even listening, they just see the message pop up on chat and it's like, why are you self-promoting? Because the fucking streamer asked me a question, dumbass. But if you say that in chat, you'll probably get banned from the fucking mod.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Scott asked in chat as well, rather than banning, are you able to mute people? Or are you not able to mute people for certain periods of time? Yeah, you absolutely can time someone out, and you can kind of choose how long to time them out. And I generally would say to my mods, if it's kind of in that gray area where you think it's not appropriate for chat, but it doesn't necessarily deserve a ban, time it out, because it removes the message from your chat. So it's not sitting there staring you in the face, but it's also just kind of a warning, right? You can definitely do that. And in my experience, if somebody's determined to troll, you can time them out for 10 minutes. Sometimes they'll leave. Sometimes they'll wait the 10 minutes and they'll come back and they'll be more pissed off or more smart ass, and maybe that's fine as, here's your initial warning, chill out. There's a 10-minute timeout. And then maybe they're going to come back and be a upstanding member of the chat. It's
Less of a piece of shit, you mean? To say?
it depends on the person. Again, use your judgment as a streamer. If you don't want to hesitate to jump straight to the ban, then yeah, by all means, time them out for 10 minutes, and you know, maybe they come back and they're apologetic or whatever. For
Ban them all.
like a self promotion, we generally just do like a 1 second timeout just to get the link gone from the stream, and then say, hey, that's not appropriate, like, you know, blah blah blah, or
Hey.
whatever. Like
Stop that shit.
it's again, I'm always a bit more lax on self promo. I don't care as much in my chat. I think there's
I mean, it's tough when we run something like this where we're trying to teach people how to build a stream and stuff like that, and you feel the need to like physically say, like, hey, how's your streams going? Not through like this genuine kind of basis, but it's more like, this is what we do on every Sunday. We're trying to help people grow the stream. But it's when you get that random fucking dumbass that comes in and he's like, hey, come and watch me, and it's like, no,
yeah,
shut up.
that's the thing. If it's a member of the community that's maybe just, you know, oh, I'm gonna go stream later, like I generally will let that slide. Like, I don't care. If people are leaving my stream to go and watch that, then fine, so be it.
There is so many people in your chat that does that. Right?
But like, do anyone from my chat leave? Do they go and watch that stream? Like, does it affect me in any way?
To go and throw some abuse that way.
It doesn't. The thing is, I view it as it doesn't affect me. You know,
I'm gonna go
Fine.
sub and cancel it.
And then resub and then cancel that.
Yeah.
it's
fucking teach them.
You know, I just, again, obviously we do this podcast where we give advice on Twitch and how to grow and how to, you know, do all these things, and I just think, you know, if someone wants to try and do that, like, fine. It really doesn't bother me. I guess I would look at it at the attitude of, if people are leaving and going over to that stream and they stay there, they've got better content than me. They're doing something right. If people choose to stay in my stream and not go over when someone says, hey, I'm streaming right now, or like, hey, they do the, you know, right, I'll talk to you later, man, I'm gonna go start my stream, take it easy. Like, fine. If people click and go over there, then there's a reason that they're doing that. There's a reason they're leaving my channel. My goal should be to make my content better so that they go, I want to stay here. And maybe that's like a dumb way of thinking about it. I don't know, but that's how I would look at it. You know, that there's this culture on Twitch of like, my viewers, don't steal my viewers, they're my viewers, you know? And like, that's fine in some cases, and I understand that it's sometimes just about manners and being polite, and I get that. But I don't know. I guess the way I look at it is that, you know, if somebody's stealing my viewers, then they're doing it because they're a better streamer than me. Simple as that, really.
The only problem I have with it is just disrespectful. It just comes from this place of, is that the only reason you're here? Is so you could say that one thing and leave? Because that's gross.
Absolutely.
Because I have someone that comes in that does that. That's literally the only interaction they ever have, and it's like, is that why you're here?
I get that, and obviously, yes, there's circumstances where it's you know, definitely more seen as rude. I generally see people that are doing that kind of thing in chat, for the most part, are maybe new to Twitch. They've not been around long. They've not been a member of a lot of communities, and they'll learn once they're on there. And the last thing I want to do is, you know, shit on somebody that's trying to, you know, get started with Twitch and things. Obviously, there's exceptions. I'm not saying every single person like that. Some people are just there to self-promote. You know, fine. Obviously, if a brand new person that I've never met before comes into stream, and within the first hour they drop. I mean, I had somebody the other week that was in and they were like talking and they were getting on, and then they went, you guys should all follow me, and just posted their link in their chat, or like, you guys should all watch me. And it was like really damn fucking obvious. Just there was none of this, I'm gonna go stream now, see you later. It was just, you guys should all watch me. Bam, drop the link. And my mods immediately timed it out, said, hey, that's not cool. And he said sorry, and I explained to him, hey, this is why. And then he went, teach me how to get viewers like you have. Dougie. And you know, we just had a good conversation about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we had a good chat, and I like to think hopefully that person, you know, they've not come back to the channel, that's fine, whatever, but I like to think hopefully they came away from that thinking, well, now I've got some ideas of how I can go and do my own stream, how I can grow. I've got some motivation at least, or something from it, you know? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like being able to sit and talk about that stuff. That's why I wanted to start this podcast. That's why we do this, because I love talking about it. I think it's really fascinating. And if somebody wants to come in and ask me questions while I'm live, then great. It's just stuff for me to talk about. I don't have to sit and think like, okay, think of a joke, try and be funny. Oh, they're going to leave. They're all going to leave. Be funny, Condi. Like, I can just talk about Twitch stuff for hours.
I mean,
We've
we've
said
said
that fucking cheese joke again.
I mean, we've said this before, but it's at least my personal opinion that for people who mean well, who are there to contribute, who are just there to hang out, and obviously just don't have any malicious intent, and they're just vibing with the channel, people that chat in stream, you're the fucking VIPs. Like people who chat, period, chat amongst themselves, like chat with the person hosting the channel, like chat. People who talk in chat to me are like S tier, grade A, like superheroes, because it is content to riff on. It's content for people to. It just elevates the channel in ways that it's difficult to describe as a streamer, because it gives you, it is such a gift to the person streaming, and it just pays so many dividends forward, to both the person streaming as well as other people in chat. You have stimulating conversation. But yeah, exactly, active chatter reviewer account, like eh, yeah, you guys are the VIPs for
Yeah,
real.
for sure. And like, we're not to say we don't appreciate and love the lurkers. I'm a
Huge
lurker.
but lurkers are critical. It's just like it's that added thing that like, oh, it makes our job so much easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we all agree that, that's the best way to support a streamer. Like, if you don't have to sub, you don't have to tip. Cyber, you don't have to tip.
Wait,
talking
so you
in
don't
chat.
want the tip?
I don't.
Well, now we didn't say that.
the number one best way to support a streamer, as Grog says, is to talk in chat. And that's not to say don't lurk. If you don't have nothing to say, then leave. Like, that's not what we're saying. But it's very helpful, very, very appreciated by all of us.
And as the streamer, the best thing to do is go into the users in chat and start calling people out and say, hey, Condifly, Daily Milk, Gonzo, Grog Mode, Meta. Okay, wait one second.
Start at the top was a mistake there,
Thank
Eve.
you, guys.
Anyway, I think that's about it for today. So we should start to wrap up here. Cyber, where can everyone find you on the internet, and what do you want to plug?
So you can find me on all major platforms, Unholy Cyber. For the next few weeks, it's going to be a fucking nightmare. I've got so much shit to actually get organized for moving, so streams might be a little bit sporadic. Tuesday and Thursday, I am going to be playing Final Fantasy online. 100%. I'm not playing Tarkov this week, which I'm probably going to get PTSD. Like, I play that game way too much, but I am playing Final Fantasy Tuesday and Thursday. And then obviously this. So make sure you tune in next Sunday.
Awesome. Grog, what about yourself?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/grogmode, on other major platforms at gamer_grog. I stream 5 days a week. 4 of those days, Monday through Thursday, it's just me. And then on Saturdays, I stream with my wife. And Arcade Riot. And so this coming weekend, we'll be continuing more Song of Horror, the two of us on stream. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be playing some Apex with Pigeon and Condi. It's going to be a beard-filled Monday of gaming. I'm looking forward to it. So that should be a lot of fun. And then probably some Warzone and maybe some more Loop Hero during the week.
Nice. Hell yeah. Eve, where can everyone find you?
You can find me Metabot Eve everywhere. I started posting some like card opening videos on TikTok. So
there was one that you got wrong, which really triggered me. You said that it was card opening from Magic the Gathering Core 2022, and I was like, bitch, it's 2021.
I'm gonna check now. While I'm talking, I'm gonna check, and I'm gonna call you out for being wrong, because I don't think so.
But I think you reposted it as well, because you were talking about how like with Pokemon, obviously you flip the first 4 cards over.
Fuck, you're right.
Yes. I pay attention.
Fuck. Can you edit? Can't edit.
You can't edit.
Well, yeah, you can find me all over the place. I stream on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and I do this on Sundays. If we do get snowed in and I don't work on Monday, then I'm gonna be streaming like all day, like Apex or something.
Well, I'm gonna be on like all day tomorrow, so we can maybe hook up for some Apex before Grog and everyone.
All
if you're
day?
up early enough.
Where can
Should be
people find you,
working.
County?
Yeah.
Oh
come
yeah,
on.
What are you up to?
You can find me on Twitch,
You starting Loop
YouTube, TikTok. I'm not gonna start it. I'm worried about the level
When
of
you
addiction.
playing Tarkov again?
We'll see. Yeah, you can find me everywhere, Condyfly. I uploaded a YouTube video this week. Again, I'm trying to get back on top of it. I'm racking my brains for content that I can do.
How was the YouTube intros going?
Oh, dude. So you know how last week I went on this whole tangent about making content on your stream that then translates easily to YouTube content. So it was a bit last minute and we were a bit scuffed, but I played Hot Dogs or Legs.
The zombie, how long would you survive?
Yeah, so Hot Dogs or Legs. We did a few like random like sort of BuzzFeed style quizzes. How long would I survive a zombie apocalypse? And then
How did that
stuff
go?
like that. I think it said I would end up being like the leader of the new world or something. I don't know.
That's not how I remember it.
Pretty sure. But
Can we get the clip, please, chat?
basically, yeah. So I took that and turned it into a YouTube video, which I was really happy with because it was easy enough to do. It was fun to do with chat. However, I tried to do this thing where I record the intro for the YouTube video live, and obviously my chat has the ability to affect things in my stream, like mute my microphone or make me dab. And I did about 20 attempts and gave up and just threw in the best one where I was muted for half of it in the YouTube video. So that is something I need to.
used so many points.
But you know what? People had fun, so that's what matters. So go check that out. We're almost at 400 subs on YouTube, which is crazy. So I'm trying really hard to get more YouTube stuff out. But yeah, I'm going to be doing more Apex, more Valheim probably. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. More importantly, the podcast. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, we do this live on Twitch, twitch.tv/ZeroStrategyPodcast. We also have a YouTube channel, which we don't upload to, but you should subscribe to that anyway. And if you're watching on Twitch and you maybe liked what you heard or wanted to catch some old episodes, we generally try and cover like one main topic a week. All the previous ones are on Spotify. If you just search Zero Strategy Podcast, you'll find it. We have a Discord and a Twitter and just all of the things. So go and check it out. We are going to raid somebody, so please do stick around for that and go and pass the love on to a streamer who deserves it. And we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Later, guys. Take it
Your
easy.
beard's not even 2 feet long, pussy.